Welcome back, Amiibros, to Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. Last time, Zangetsu defeated the great demon Gremory, who had arisen, but not without a snag. In one last act of desperation, Gremory attempted to destroy our heroes, leading to Zangetsu sacrificing himself so Miriam and the rest could escape with their lives. Now, it's up to the remaining party members to save what little remains of Zangetsu's humanity. However, we aren't going to be tackling that quite yet. You see, it's no secret that our three companions have some ties to demons, and Zangetsu, massive dickhead as he is, exists to slay anything related to demons, no matter how small or big it may be. So, what happens if he were to reject the aid of Miriam, Alfred, and Jeeble? That's right. Straight out of Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, you can absorb your former allies' souls and add them to Zangetsu's power, becoming permanent upgrades for him to use. These range from a mid-air crescent slash, double jump, and a dash, which can be used in conjunction with the double jump to cover greater distances. Needless to say, this turns Zangetsu into one of the best characters in terms of mobility. Unless the alternate pathway requires Jeeble or Miriam, there's nothing a fully powered Zangetsu can't get to. Now, of course, at the cost of killing your comrades, the game does get harder. You only have Zangetsu, meaning you're more likely to lose a life, and you have to adapt your methods for dealing with bosses accordingly. Gremory, for example, takes longer to deal with and is harder given that you're only playing as one character, meaning you only have access to one health bar. After defeating Gremory, though, you gain the following as your ending. The man who wished for nothing other than the power to eradicate demons spent his final days in abject misery. There were none left to pity nor mourn for he whose heart became dominated by darkness. Zangetsu now reigned as the new Dark Emperor. A long, horrible night descended upon the land. In addition, you also unlock Ultimate Mode, which allows you to play as Zangetsu with his upgrades, and in addition to that, you can recruit Miriam, Alfred, and Jeeble without killing them. And not only that, Zangetsu also gets an exclusive charge move that he can use, and it's pretty potent all things considered. So enjoy playing the unlockable third mode of the game, which is the best way to play Curse of the Moon in my opinion. But with Zangetsu's sole quest for slaying demons now reached, it's time to show off what happens after he's been possessed. Once you beat the main quest for the first time with all 4 characters, you'll unlock Nightmare Mode, in which the only playable characters are their surviving companions, Miriam, Alfred, and Jeeble, as they make their way through the same stages to save Zangetsu. Now, while you may be playing through the same stages and facing the same bosses, with exception being the final boss for this mode, Nightmare Mode gives you the chance to explore pathways in earlier stages that you couldn't before. And these pathways aren't just a different means of getting through a stage. No. These pathways do contain different hard-hitting enemies, and extra goodies like money and upgrades that you couldn't get to before. Things really don't change until the final stage of Nightmare Mode, Stage 9, where in order to finish off the mode, you must bypass 3 spirit gates protected by 3 spirit guardians. And naturally, the best way to take care of these 3 spirit guardians is to split up. In one stage, you're playing as Miriam, dealing with the spirit guardian of that room, and the same applies for Alfred and Jeeble, just with different stage layouts that are more accustomed to their playing styles. This also means that if one character dies, you start back at the beginning of the room as that character, and that is a life lost. Needless to say, this stage is pretty damn challenging on veteran mode, especially if you're not really accustomed to playing as Jeeble or Alfred, or even Miriam for that matter. Fortunately, Miriam's section isn't that challenging, thanks in large part to her Big Axe. Big Axe is a good friend to everybody who is worthy enough to use him. You know, you could just chew straight through those weird, ugly-looking chimeras. They'll just shoot spikes at the ground, forcing you to jump to a different platform, as they do cover the entirety of the platform that the chimera is on. And yeah, man, ever since Zangetsu got possessed by Gremory and took control over the castle, things have clearly taken a turn for the worst. Ever since then, Zangetsu's been pulling stronger and more wretched demons from a deeper, darker pit of despair, you know? Like, sorry if I got a bit dramatic with that, but it's true. I mean, we have not seen these demons at all, or these kind of demons at all. I mean, when Gremory was still around, the demons looked more human-esque. You know, they didn't look too disturbing or creepy, but no, with Zangetsu now in charge, he has free reign to just pull whatever demon he wants out. He is now the strongest demon of them all. The one thing he hates the most, he has become. It's kind of poetic in a way, you know? But right here we have Alfred's section, and the easiest way to beat this section is just to keep moving forward. Hang on to Alfred's fire spell, as it will help you a ton. Of course, if you manage to get the ice spell or even the electricity spell that's right up there. Unfortunately, I got the shitty end of the stick and got the echo spell. Anyway, if you're able to get the ice spell, I recommend that as well. It'll chew through the next spirit guardian like it's nothing. One thing I could definitely say about this stage in particular that I haven't said about this game at all is that, oh my god, this game has such great music. Jesus, man, I could be dying constantly in this stage and I'm still tapping my toes. I'm still having a good time because the music in this stage is fucking legendary. Take a listen. This music is just so fucking kick-ass. I love it. I know I haven't been talking about the music of this game up until now, the final episode and whatnot, but trust me, man, Curse of the Moon soundtrack is really, really damn good stuff. Really great chiptunes. I love it. And we see what became of those bunny creatures that we saw when Gremory was still in charge. They're now just this horrid abomination, this weird-looking fish thing with like ribs, or its rib cage popping out. You know, I would have loved to have been I would have loved to have been in one of those meetings where, you know, people are just spitting ideas of how the demons should look and whatnot after Zangetsu was in charge of the castle. But with the final spirit guardian taken care of, we now have access to Zangetsu's chambers. And unlike Gremory, the grand staircase descends downward, and instead of a full moon, there's an eclipse. Just letting you know now, don't worry about Alfred or Jeeble. Pick a sub-weapon for Miriam and use the remaining lanterns to farm weapon points. Trust me. There is also an extra life that will respawn should you die here. Once you're ready, head inside. only fought in the game's Nightmare mode, and the true final boss of Curse of the Moon. He also happens to be the hardest fucking fight in the game. It's Corrupted Zangetsu. This fight is only playable with Miriam, as Jeeble and Alfred are paralyzed at the start of the fight, meaning they cannot contribute, or you can't switch to them at all. If Miriam bites the dust here, that is a life lost. Now, that's not to say that Alfred and Jeeble don't contribute in this fight, they certainly do, against Zangetsu's stronger attacks, but we'll get to that in just a bit. Starting off, Zangetsu will slash left to right before jumping and clinging to the wall. He'll move to either wall while dropping fire bombs that will later turn into fire pillars. Get as close as you can and duck, as he'll use a wide crescent slash to cover a good chunk of the stage. Pick your shots and don't get greedy. Like I said, if Miriam falls, that's it. You do have that extra life before the fight, which basically gives you infinite retries. Another thing of Zangetsu's attack is that he'll transform his corrupted arm, or his weird scythe arm, into a skull dragon that shoots a stream of fire. This is where Alfred steps in, using his fire spell to protect you against it. He'll try to get as close as he can, meaning that as Alfred is moving closer to Zangetsu, you can move in closer to him and whip him. Remember, Miriam has very long reach with her whip. It won't last forever, and you can slide under Alfred's fire shield if you happen to be in front of him. It doesn't damage you, thankfully. Alfred's fire spell can discern friend from foe. So, all good on you, Alfred. I knew you were a good alchemist deep down. Another one of Zangetsu's attacks is that he'll suspend himself in the air while he summons up these weird, creepy demon hands that try to attack you. They'll envelop every single side of the screen except in mid-air, which is where Jeeble will turn into a form of bats, acting as a pseudo-platform for you to stand on. This is your chance to jump up and whip Zangetsu as best as you can before the platform disappears and the grabby hands go away. Before the fight can conclude, Zangetsu has one last trick up his sleeve, a desperation attack, and screwing up here means game over. If one of those blue flames even touch a single hair on Alfred's head, the following will happen. Once Alfred finishes prepping his final spell, the fight is over, and you'll have defeated Corrupted Zangetsu. Thus, the new era of darkness came to an end. However, their failure to save their ally's life weighed heavily upon their hearts. In the end, they had only enough power to save his soul. May this land and his soul know true peace. And that, folks, is Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, a short but enjoyable game with addictive gameplay and great replay value with its multiple pathways and solid level design. No matter your playstyle, this game is designed with that in mind, I assure you. There are so many ways you can play this game, each offering a new challenge for you to tackle. Again, I've played this game countless times, played through normal mode, nightmare mode, and ultimate mode, and I still feel like I'm discovering new things each time I boot this game up. It's not long, but it's enjoyable, and I recommend it if you're a fan of old school platformers, or the Castlevania series in general. This game isn't shy about its inspirations, but I do hope this playthrough showed that Curse of the Moon is not just a Castlevania game with the serial numbers filed off. And hey, it's not like Konami is gonna be making a Castlevania game anytime soon. Oh, I'm sorry, a decent Castlevania game anytime soon when you look at their track record nowadays with their IPs that, used to be good. But if you're interested in this game, you could find it on previous gen consoles like Xbox One, PS4, and the Switch, which is the version I recommend personally, as the Switch is at a great advantage with its portability, and with this kind of game, it just makes sense. And that'll do for now. For the remainder of the year, folks, I'm going to be taking a break from Let's Plays, as the holidays are upon us, and I do want to get some personal projects out of the way before this year is out. But as soon as 2022 rolls around, I'll have a brand new Let's Play ready to go. Until then, I'm Vince, and I hope you all have a safe night, enjoy the holidays, enjoy a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. See ya!